Did you know that you might be able to find your ancestors in passenger lists? Did you know that you can find passenger lists on Ancestry, FamilySearch, Find My Past, and MyHeritage? And by the way, they're not all the same. Did you know that you can find pictures for some of those ships? We're going to talk about all of that here in just a moment, but first, let me introduce myself. My name is Connie Knox. I am a lifelong genealogist here to help you go further faster and factually with your family history research. Now today we're talking about passenger lists and where to find them, what's in them, and more. Now there's a handout for this for information access level channel members. It has a ton of information, 4 pages worth of resources, links, and all kinds of stuff that we're talking about in this video today. So for channel members, go to the community tab and find it there. It'll say big bold letters handout. And if you're new or you have never joined before and you want to learn more about it, all you have to do is click the join button and there'll a video pop up and tell you all about it. So now let's go back in time and take a look at passenger lists. Okay, well, you've already gotten a lot of information about passenger lists. So now let's take a look at some of the resources. So, of course, a lot of us are on Ancestry, and they have some excellent records for passenger lists. So how you find them is you go to search. This is really easy. Go to Immigration and Travel, and of course, you would search your ancestor's name, and it really helps if you know when and where they arrived in the United States. So also one of the things you want to really pay attention to is the featured data selection over here. There are other specific data collections about how your ancestor may have arrived in the United States. Remember, they may have come through Canada. They may have immigrated into Canada and then crossed by land into the United States. Now, if you want to narrow it even further and you want to get specifically to passenger lists, come up here. You can narrow by category. This is all under the Immigration and Travel umbrella, if you will. But to get specifically to passenger lists, you would click here. And then once here, you can search your ancestor. Now, you would then put your information in. You may have to go back and edit the search a couple times to get the name just right. For example, her maiden name did not have Madsen. It pre-populated with my ancestor's name in here, but you really want to try and get the name at birth, especially if they're children coming over. If they are married at the time, then perhaps you search both maiden name and married name. It just depends on the passenger list as to whether they're using maiden name or married name. And then you hit search and you come up with your results, and you can, in many cases on Ancestry, you can take a look at the image, and here she is as a child. Turns out she ends up being Frances Johnson in the United States, but she is Francisca Jensen coming over. Some of these images are really hard to see, but they are really fun to take a look at. So that is Ancestry. Okay, so at FamilySearch, what you do is you hit the search and you want to search records. So you fill in the information, and then what you want to do is you restrict the records by type, and you click Immigration and Naturalization and hit search. Here you get a list of records for which you can then explore further. For example, if we want to take a look at this record, Scandinavian, this is an immigration record, meaning he's leaving Denmark. In this case, it says to view the images, we either need to be at the Family History Center or access to the Family History Affiliate Library. So in this case, we cannot get any more information, but this is probably enough information to determine whether this is your ancestor. You would still want to chase down the original image so that you can determine who this person traveled with. Another great resource is at the Statue of Liberty Ellis Island Foundation. Now here you can search your records as well. I have done a complete video on how to do this with Jackie Schock. She is awesome. She is the director over there, and she did an interview. I will leave a flag on the screen for you, as well as at the end of this video. She's awesome, and she goes through that. But briefly, once you click on this button, it takes you over here, and you can insert your ancestor's name, and you can use different filters. So you can say it contains, or it's an exact match, or it's a close match. It sounds like alternate spellings and last name as first. There's also a narrow your search wizard. So for more information about how to search here at the Statue of Liberty at Ellis Island Foundation, that whole website is on another video. Now, a lot of these records, if not all of them, are also on Ancestry. The National Archives also has a searchable database online. It is right here, and a lot of these records, you know, you're going to find crossover in different places. The access to the archival database, which you see right here, if you scroll down, if you click on this, it's going to take you just down to the bottom of this page here. And so you can access the archival database right here. And when you click on that, it takes you over to this website. And here you can actually search a lot of different things over at the National Archives. You've got wars and places and private sector. And so if you want passenger lists, they're right here. So clicking through to passenger lists, you would then have to kind of narrow your search as to which specifically that you're looking for. So scrolling down just a little bit, it looks like they have 4 major sets here. Data files relating to immigration of Russia to the United States from 1834 to 1897, records of passengers who arrived at the port of New York during the Irish famine. Okay, so there's some very specific records here. Immigration of Germans to the United States and immigration of Italians to the United States. So we've got some very specific record collections here. So if that is of interest to you, take a look there. During my research, I discovered that the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission has its own website and its own set of passenger lists. And so you can dig through here and take a look at passenger lists that recorded the arrival of continental Europeans, chiefly German, Dutch, Swiss, French, at the port of Philadelphia from 1727 to 1744, and select dates through 1808. Now, once you find your immigrant ancestor in some records, you can then search for ship pictures. You can do this at Ancestry.com, as well as several other places. So here at Ancestry, search immigration and travel, and over here it says ship pictures and descriptions, and you can search ship images. Hopefully you'll find one. Now, there are several other places that I have found passenger ships, and one of my favorites is a Scandinavian group called Norway-Heritage, and so you can certainly search here. Links for all of these items are in the handout for the channel members, but they have some really beautiful images over here. And pay attention on this site if you use their images publicly. There are some disclaimers you have to give because these are copyrighted images. So I did do this video previously with Jackie Schock about Ellis Island and the records in the history, and she actually demonstrates how to search the records there. So if that is something of interest to you, I will leave a link in the description below this video, as well as a link on the screen. A couple more resources. Jackie also had recommended this book. She said this was one of her favorite books about immigration to the United States. It's called In the Shadow of Liberty, the Chronicle of Ellis Island. It's a paperback, and so I will leave a link in the description for this book as well. The one that I recommend as well is They Came in Ships, Finding Your Immigrant Ancestors and Arrival. Now, this is a little bit older book, dated, the last update was in 2002, but the information in it is really good, and it is very relevant today. We might have a few new online options that we didn't have before, but now this book talks about the history of immigration to America and how they arrived. It is by John Philip Colletta. He is awesome, and I can't recommend it enough. As a reminder, there is a handout for this for the information access level channel members. Now, if you're not a channel member and you want to become one, click the join button and learn all about it. All right, there is more information on the screen for your binge watching pleasure. So we'll catch you next time. Bye.